Top lightweights Rafael Fiziev and Mateusz Gamrot throw down this weekend at UFC Vegas 79, looking to etch themselves back into title contention after falling short against other top lightweights over the last 6 to 8 months. And it's going to be a very entertaining matchup when these guys throw down this Saturday night. Just a quick plug for the MMA Fight Archive. If you like doing your own research, breaking down and predicting fights, check out why the top cappers, commentators, coaches, and fighters make sure they leave no stone unturned by utilizing the MMA Fight Archive. 7-day free trial available with direct links to past fights for all the upcoming fights on these top promotions from all over the world. Again, 7-day free trial available. Check the link in the description below. All right, I hope you're laced up because we're off and running with the first fight of the night. We got Tamiris Vidal going up against Montserrat Rendon. Both women very low level in my opinion for this division, but I expect that Rendon could do some good work here with her straight, crisp boxing down the pipe. Vidal is very strong and she likes to utilize wide winging hooks, but I feel like that will leave openings for Rendon to touch her up from down the pipe. This will be a closer fight than the odds indicate, and I've been getting ripped all week for picking Rendon over Vidal, but I'm going to stay strong at the end of the week here, stick with my underdog spot to pull off the upset to start off the night via decision. Next up, we got Mizuki Inoue going up against Hannah Goldy. Inoue is returning from a 3-year-long layoff where she's been sidelined with some injuries, but it looks like she's been training often enough, really picking up some good things over there at Bangtan Muay Thai in Thailand, and I expect to see improvements from her game this time around. I think her striking style will be a little bit too much for Hannah Goldy, as Goldy will be stuck at the end of Inoue's 1-2s down the pipe and unable to utilize her grappling advantage that she might have, but Inoue's been getting in great work with Kanako Murata, and I expect her to use it defensively here so that she can stick with her striking and touch up Goldy en route to a decision victory. Next up, we got heavyweights throwing down between Muhammad Usman and Jake Collier, as Usman is normally a low-volume kickboxer. He actually used a grapple-heavy approach similar to his brother Kamaru last time around, where he won a victory over Junior Tafa. Jake Collier is a guy that is on an unfortunate losing streak right now, but I think we've seen that he's taken this fight seriously, come in 10 pounds lighter on the scales yesterday, and I expect him to utilize his overall better game here against Usman, who is a little bit too low volume, and Jake Collier should be able to put together a much better game plan with his higher volume striking approach and maybe even mixing in some takedowns to wear on Usman's gas tank and win this fight by decision. Next up, we got Jacob Malkoun going up against Cody Brundage. Very straightforward fight here. Either Brundage lands a Hail Mary shot on the feet, trying to exploit the durability issues Malkoun may still have, or Malkoun is successful in dragging this fight to the ground, maybe even with the help of Brundage jumping guillotine a couple times, but able to control this fight, dictate the pace of this fight, and make it slow, grindy, and very much a wrestling fight. And I expect Malkoun to win it by decision. Next up, we got Tim Means and Andre Fialho in a fight that is sure to deliver on fireworks. As much as I love Means in this spot, it doesn't seem like he can take shots like he used to. And unfortunately, I think that Fialho will be able to put a barrage of punches together early in this matchup to find the chin of Tim Means and put him clean out. It means if he is able to survive that first round, he should start to pick up steam in the second and third rounds. I like the fight doesn't go to decision the most, but unfortunately for him, I think the speed, power, and agility advantage early for Fialho will be too much for Means, and I expect Fialho to buck this trend of losses that he's on, and I expect him to get his hand raised by knockout. Next up, we got Dan Argueta going up against Miles Johns in a fight between two guys that like to wrestle, but I think it's going to be Argueta who will be able to dictate the pace, something that Miles Johns does not enjoy in his fights. And I think from there, Argueta will do a great job of putting Johns through the grinder, staying in his face, keeping the pressure on him, and pulling away late so that he can go out there and get his hand raised by decision. I really expect Argueta to get more respect after this matchup, especially after what he was able to do against Ronnie Lawrence. But I think that this is a great stylistic matchup for him to really put the pressure on Johns and win this fight by decision. Next up, we got Ricardo Ramos going up against Charles Jourdain. I really like Ramos in this spot as the underdog, as I think his ability to mix his wrestling behind his striking will keep Jourdain on the end of his, on the tips of his toes, and unable to really get his own offense going, similar to what Nathaniel Wood was able to do against him. Ramos's durability is obviously a bit of a question mark, but for the most part, I think he should be able to evade the shots of Jourdain, the unorthodox style and flashy style of Jourdain, and then ultimately change levels, get this fight to the ground, and utilize his superior BJJ to keep this fight on the ground, control Jourdain, and win it by decision. Next up, we got Brian Battle going up against AJ Fletcher. Battle is coming off a 14-second knockout against Gabe Green in his neck of the woods, where he was able to really just bite down on his mouthpiece, meet Gabe Green with the fire that Green was bringing, and come out victorious. Normally, Battle weaponizes his cardio by pushing his opponents with his volume striking approach, maybe mixing in some takedowns, and just putting a pressure on his opponents that they're uncomfortable with. AJ Fletcher is a guy that normally likes to utilize his grappling, but you see on the regional scene that it works against lower levels of competition, but not so much on the UFC level. I think that we'll see him, unfortunately, gas here against a guy like Battle, who's going to consistently make him work, and I expect Battle to pull away late in this fight and find a finish in the third round. Next up, we got Marina Rodriguez going up against Michelle Waterson-Gomez, a rematch of a main event fight that took place last year where Rodriguez was able to batter Waterson-Gomez over 25 minutes and win that fight by decision. There was only one round that Waterson-Gomez won, and that was with her wrestling, but she very much struggled to get the fight into the grappling room over those 25 minutes, which is what I think we'll see here again, once again, as Rodriguez will keep this fight upright and utilize her more aesthetically pleasing striking approach with how much damage she lands with, and I think that will unfortunately cause Waterson-Gomez to lose another fight. So give me Rodriguez, and Rodriguez by decision. In the co-main event, we got Bryce Mitchell going up against Dan Ige. Mitchell obviously coming off a loss to Ilia Topuria, which stopped a 6-fight winning streak that he was riding. He's obviously going to be looking to utilize his grapple-heavy approach to try to stifle Dan Ige. Unfortunately for him, Dan Ige's BJJ black belt should allow him to stay out of too much trouble here against Mitchell, keep this fight upright, and utilize his boxing-heavy approach to touch up Mitchell, maybe even find a finish late in this matchup. But I think for the most part, we'll see Ige landing more damage, making it look better for the judges, and hopefully nullifying the control time that Mitchell will inevitably be able to accrue. But I think that Ige will do a good enough job, and like I said, working back to his feet, stopping takedowns, and then eventually putting his punches together and landing damage. Give me Ige, and Ige by decision. And then in the main event, we got a classic striker versus grappler matchup between Rafael Fiziev and Mateusz Gamrot. Fiziev came up short last time around against Justin Gaethje, where he had a solid start to the fight, but unfortunately started to slow down, and we saw Gaethje touch him up and win that fight by decision. Normally, Fiziev starts out hot and heavy with his striking approach, with big strikes, fast combinations, and deadly accuracy. But I think that he really struggles once fights start to get into deep waters, just as we saw against Rafael dos Anjos. Luckily for him, he was bailed out by the knockout that he was able to get in the beginning of that 5th round. But Mateusz Gamrot is a guy that has cut his teeth in championship and 5-round fights, and I expect him to survive the first 2 rounds and do a good enough job in terms of at least winning one of those first 3 rounds while getting the 4th and 5th round to win this fight by decision. His relentless grappling style will be more than what Rafael dos Anjos put on Fiziev, and I think that will cause Fiziev to slow down sooner and Gamrot to pick up steam in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds, winning this fight by decision. There you guys go. Quick picks for all 11 fights for this UFC Vegas 79 card. Appreciate all the love and support as always. Hopefully you guys did great on Bellator earlier today, and we can kill the UFC later this evening as well. I'll be back on Monday for the for the Contender Series breakdowns. Stay tuned for that. Appreciate all the love. Appreciate all the support. Hit that like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.